Well, hello guys. This is Katie with Vintage and Vinyl, back with another great show and tell for you. And tonight I have a very special guest on. Barb from Winking Owl Antiques is joining us, and I'm so excited. We're going to celebrate Christmas in July and talk a little bit about Rushton Santas. So Barb, welcome. I'm so thrilled you're here. Can you tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. Well, a lot of you probably know me from Real Nifty Vintage, Jeffrey's trusty sidekick, which is what I usually like to do. So this is a little bit, I'm not a fan of being on by myself, but this is going to be fun, and I need to practice anyway. So I got into vintage probably during college, I would say, and worked at an antique mall for a short time, and just didn't do a whole lot with it. But then Jeffrey and I started going to auctions, and, eventually he got his YouTube, and that's kind of how everything played out. So, and of course, when I'm not doing that, I'm a mom. So that's my main job.
You are very busy, Barb, but I will tell you guys that Barb is captain of the ship on Friday night. She helps keep everything running so smoothly for Jeffrey. You're just awesome, Barb. We all love you.
Oh, thanks.
So we got a couple of folks joining us in the chat tonight. I see Tantik is here and joining us, and Karen Radford is in the house, and Jeanette. Hello, guys. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining. Vinny is here. Vinny's always a big supporter of everybody, so thanks for showing up. Kathy's joining us. We got 4 Sandy's Lilacs back. Jeanette was in my chat earlier, my premiere, and she said, "Where's Barb?" And I said, "Barb's not here. She'll be on at 9:30. So welcome, Jeanette. Thanks for coming back and hanging out with us. Carrie is here. Hello, Carrie. Suzical, all the way from Canada. Ooh, and my phone is ringing. I probably put that on silent. Well, this is live, folks. That does happen. Julie is joining us. Hello, Julie. Sharon is here. And Jamie from Mid-Century Wasted. Oh boy, look at that army behind Barb. Yes, she does have a pretty fabulous army. Linda is joining us. Carrie. And we got Peacock Parlor coming in. Hello, hello. And Daniel is joining us, Mr. Fabulous Brooch fella in our community. And we've got Buying Space is here, Myra. Hi, Buying Space. Myra lives in Jacksonville, so that's very cool. Hi, Cheryl Ross and Penny Forshee and Kat from Calypso Cat. Rebecca Higgins is popping in. Nicole from Nesting Haven. Oh gosh, so many of you folks are popping in, and I so appreciate that. So thank you guys for joining us. This is a live broadcast. It's a show and tell. So if at any point during this show you have questions for Barb or for me, please drop them in the chat and I'll highlight them on the screen. We're going to go ahead and get started because I'm so excited to hear about Rushtons. Now, I fell in love with Rushtons after learning that Barb collected them, and she started showing a few of them on Instagram during Christmas, and I thought, oh, I've got to have one. So I bought my first Rushton from Misty, and I just think that they're wonderful. So I'm glad Barb's on to show her collection because she really helped me fall in love with them. I don't think I knew they existed before Barb, which is cool. So that's very, very cool. So Barb, tell us a little bit about how you got started collecting Rushton Santas.
I think the first thing that happened was there was a local estate sale, and it did not have a Rushton Santa in the photos, but it did have like a stuffed Santa doll. And so we went to the sale, we weren't the first in line. And by the time I got in there, I saw somebody holding it, and still to this day, that one kind of breaks my heart because I think it was like kind of I've never seen the same one basically as well. So I think it was kind of they took a rubber face and put it on one of the older ones that had like a broken cloth face or something. But anyway, after that, I started they were on my radar. So every time I would see one, I would think, okay, on eBay, but I didn't buy one. And then one came to an auction again. And so that time I got it. So yeah, that's how that got started. And then it was just as soon as I had one, and they're different in person. You can't see their cute little personality the same on the computer screen. I feel like you need to have one.
And I'm pretty sure that they all have different personalities, right? They don't all look the same.
Right. Like when I was getting them out for this, I left one behind because they're basically almost identical, but I feel like no two are completely maybe identical, but I don't know.
I really feel that with certain animals and stuffed things, they all seem similar, but they're really not. Their faces are just, even though they may be made in the same factory, their faces are all different. So you got to find the ones that really speak to you. And I'm curious, do you leave these out all year round?
No, right now I don't. And I would say there's a couple of reasons. One is that, my kids they find it strange. So I try to, not embarrass them, but that's part of it. And then I don't know if anybody is like a doll person or anything like that, but I haven't definitively been able to figure out, is it going to be, or could they possibly get faded or something if I were to, keep them out all the time. Like, so I'm kind of worried about that. So, yeah.
That's true. You do have to worry about fading. I don't know if their color would fade off of their fabric, but maybe it would if it was left in a window. So that's something to think about. Vinny has a really good question here. He's asking you, what is the most you are willing to spend on a Santa? And I know that these can get pretty expensive.
That's a good question. And I would say that it changes, because unfortunately at first, you think, oh, what, like $50 for one of those? That's too much, but then the more you see them and you see it, you just kind of get used to the prices that you're seeing. So you got to be careful that you don't get a little out of control. But I guess, I don't know. I mean, it really depends on what the condition is, I would say. That's a big part of it. And if it's one that I have or not. But I think, what is the most I've spent? I should have looked that up, but probably my big one over here. That one, I can't remember exactly, but maybe in the neighborhood of like 175, I think it was. But yeah.
And are they expensive because they just don't survive over time, or are some of them more quote unquote rare than others?
Well, yeah, the ones that are really gonna, get pricey are like the blue one. Is he in there? Can you see him? I'll get him. Like the ones with different colored suits. That's a big thing that people look for. And I don't know. They obviously didn't make as many of them. I don't know, what kind of number ratio compared to the regular red suits, did they make of these other colors, but they're harder to find. And so this one is the only one that I have that does not have a red suit. And we got lucky and found him at an outdoor flea market when Jeffrey was with me, and Jeffrey had gotten him for Christmas for me. And so I really want the pink one and the green one and all those. Yeah, it's eBay is like, just too much for me for those colored ones. But yeah, he's he'd have to be in my top 2 or 3 favorites for sure. Maybe my favorite that I have.
Now, are you finding most of these at estate sales or on eBay? You said eBay, sometimes the prices get pretty high. So where do you typically find your Rushtons?
I have bought a decent amount on eBay. I kind of just watch, all the time. And if one comes up that's a good deal, and I don't have it especially, then it's okay. But, or, sometimes I just get attached to a certain one. Like when Misty had all hers, then I would think about bidding on them. And it's just fun. If I see one and I really like it, then that's when I'll think about getting it. But I try not to overpay for sure, but it happens sometimes.
It does, especially if you really fall in love with something and you're not sure you're going to see it again. It may be worth paying up a little bit.
Right. Yeah, it is to me.
And Daniel has a great question from Tacky as Me. He's asking, do you rescue damaged ones or leave them behind?
If I see one in person, I would for sure get it probably, no matter what condition it was in, for, you know, assuming the price didn't go crazy, unreasonable or something like that. But yeah, I don't mind them being damaged. But I do try not to, you know, get like on eBay. If I see it on eBay, I probably wouldn't buy one that was, you know, really damaged.
And I think that's true with anything that anybody collects. They're willing to pay up to get something in a little bit better condition, but the same goes for things that are harder to find. I think sometimes you're more willing to pay for things have a little bit of damage if it's just impossible to get. I mean, I find that with typewriter ribbon pins. There are some that are just so, I don't like to use the word rare because I do think that gets overused, but there are some that are just impossible to find. I don't know if they didn't make that many or the graphics are really cool, so they skyrocket up in price. But if I ever come across those, I'm willing to pay like $30 for a 10, you know, because they're just, you won't see another one, you know.
And especially once you miss out on something once, then you get like, I know I do anyway. I get kind of like obsessive about it, and I'm like, oh, I got to find another one.
Yeah, I know, right? Now, there's a couple of other good questions coming in, and I am curious, do you collect, I know Rushton makes other things than just the Santas, so do you collect other Rushton dolls as well, or just the Santas?
So as of lately, I've gotten pretty into the other ones also. Not just Rushton, just the rubber face plush, you know, in general. Rushton is obviously my favorite, but it's also the most expensive usually. So yeah, I've gotten a little bit crazy with it, but that's okay. My husband hasn't said anything yet, so we're okay still, I think.
That's good. Now, Sandy's asking, how long has Rushton Santas been around? And I don't know that.
So as far as I know, which I'll just start off by saying that unless there's something, you know, very well hidden that I don't know about, there's not a book on Rushtons that I know of or could find. I did one time, I think, see somebody say on some type of thread online that somebody was writing one. I don't know if that's true, but I haven't found one. So there's limited information that I've been able to find. But and probably one of the best ways is when you find like old catalog, you know, pictures online or something.
Oh, yes.
Because that, you know, then you kind of have a more definitive way to date them. But basically, they mostly started, as far as I know, in the late 1950s, and then definitely into the 1960s. I get a little bit confused about if they went into the 70s or not. If they might have for a little bit, but yeah.
I think the one I have is from the 60s. I should have gotten him out to show, but he's packed away for Christmas. But he's got the white boots on him, and he's a Coca-Cola one.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been very curious about the different boots on them, and, you know, when did they come out maybe with different ones, and I haven't been able to find that info. I'll show you one with the, let's see, this is the, unless I'm forgetting, I'm pretty sure this is the first one that I ever got. And so I got him at an auction, and he has the, let's see if we can see these boots are kind of, they're like stitched is what I guess I would call them. And they're made out of maybe like a more vinyl-y material. So as far as I've been able to tell, these are like one of the first types of Rushton Santas that they made. And that would have been around like 1957-ish, I believe. And this is also the only one that I have that has his little Coke bottle, at least the entire Coke bottle still intact. So
the one I have didn't have the Coke bottle, but I swiped a 90s Coke bottle out of a Coca-Cola bear and stuck it in there. Yeah. So, I mean, it works pretty well, but it's not an original. Now, Surgical's asking why they are called Rushtons. Do you know?
Okay. The person that started the company, her name was Mary Rushton, and they started the company around, I believe it was around 1917 or so. And I know that they manufactured different types of dolls earlier in the company's history. And then her daughter eventually kind of, I don't know if she took over, but she definitely had a bigger presence. And as far as I know, she was a big part of designing all the rubber face animals when they got into the 1950s and 60s. So that's where the Rushton comes from.
That is fantastic. I knew that her daughter was involved, but I didn't ever know if she started it or not. So that's neat that to hear more about that. Jamie's saying that she found a toy Santa and they're similar, rubber faced, but Blake hates it, so she has to sell it.
Oh, you have to sell your My Toy. Yeah, I think she showed me that to see if it was a Rushton. And yeah, My Toy. I actually did. I got out a couple other Santas in case we wanted to talk about them. Now, where did it go? That were not Rushtons, just to show that some of the others. This is a My Toy right here. And let's see if I can get his face up there. So he has a different type of face, and it's just one of those things that, the more you look at them, you can just look at one and say, oh, that's, whatever. But I definitely don't know all of them. There's plenty that I would see and not know what it is. But yeah.
And are they marked, the ones that are not Rushton?
Some are and some aren't. I mean, I don't believe the My Toy ones are usually marked unless there's something stamped onto the rubber. I don't see it on this one, but some My Toy are marked and some are not. But Rushtons themselves are like this one here. Let's see. I don't believe this one is marked. The older ones here, but then the newer ones, they are marked on their boots. I mean, always, as far as I know. Maybe there's an exception. I don't know if we're going to get them to show up, but it's on the boots if they have rubber boots.
Oh, I can see that. So
Yeah.
The ones that don't have the stitching probably don't have the Rushton stamp on the bottom.
Right. Yeah. These stitched ones, they don't have a stamp on them.
So Daniel's asking a similar question to what we have been talking about, is how do you tell the real ones from the knockoffs?
Well, I guess one way is that if it has the rubber boots, it should be marked on the boots. And then if not, you just kind of have to, if you watch them, online, and you just look at enough of them, then I think you'll probably be able to tell. There's probably exceptions. Like I recently, I'm in a couple of Facebook Christmas groups, and somebody posted one that they say is the earliest Rushton Santa, according to them. And it looks really similar to this. It has the stitched boots and everything, but it has a totally different face that I had never seen. So you never know, there's always exceptions. So you never know.
And I think probably getting in some of those Rushton groups would be helpful as well, as far as just learning about them.
Yeah. It definitely is. So
I don't
know there's a group that is called, I think it's called Rushton and Other Vintage Christmas Dolls or something like that. So
we'll be looking for that group on Facebook, because I know that I could not live without my depression glass groups. They're so helpful. I mean, I'm a member of as many of the glass groups as I can. So I recommend those groups on Facebook. They're great.
Yeah.
And Peacock Parlor is asking, how many Rushtons do you own at this point?
Yeah, I had to count today when I was getting them out. So for Rushtons in particular, I think I have 16. And then just the Santa dolls total is I didn't get everyone out, but I think around 30 it would be total then. So
wow, that is amazing. Now, how do you display your collection?
Well, so far I've just kind of been, filling in, putting out my other things, and then I'll just find different spots for them, not all in one big group, but I really would like to display them in one big group. So I'm still thinking about how that's going to work. Would they all sit on a couch? I would love to have some huge shelving display, that could have them on top and then all my other vintage Christmas. So that might be in the future. I think
that would be amazing. I think they'd even look really cool in one of those red flower radio flyer wagons filled with fake snow all sitting in it. I don't know if that's your aesthetic, but I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, and I also have my eye out for a really cool sleigh of some kind.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, so Hopefully I'll find something else. But yeah, I just kind of sprinkle them in, put some by the aluminum tree, and put, just yeah. And I also, I can't really have them on the ground because I have the dog and stuff. So you got to be a little careful.
You do, and I'm sure that Louie would like to eat the Santa. So the one that I have, I put it up very high next to my aluminum tree. And you're right, they're just great next to the tree. Yeah. Randy is asking, what is your holy grail of rubber-faced animals?
Oh, the animals? Oh, gosh. Well, if we're talking about Santas, I would say that I really, the big one was a big thing for me, and I got him last year. And then I really want the pink one, and then I also want like the emerald green. I want one of each color eventually, but those are the two that I really want. And then as far as the other Russian animals, I really want a rabbit. There's lots of different and I really want one of those. Those are some of the top sellers, and yeah.
I'm sure they're very hard to find.
Yeah, they are. At a good price anyway.
That's true. So is asking if your kids are scared of those Santas.
They might have been at one time, but by now they're pretty much used to them. I think I've convinced each of them that they each at least have to have one someday when I'm gone. Like they can't just get rid of them. They've got to at least have one.
That's right. Well, they're part of you and part of your collection and something that you loved.
Yeah.
And the Withering Cottage has asked this, and I'm sorry I missed it earlier, but she was asking, do you remember the name of the video where you found your blue Santa? She wants to go back and rewatch it.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I can try to search for it. Gosh, we went to a place that day called the Litchfield Pickers Market, and then it was on the way back that we happened to see this other little pop-up flea market, and that was at the Chirping Frog Antique. So I'm not sure what it was titled though.
Well, thanks for answering that. So you can go to Real Nifty Vintage YouTube and find that video, I'm sure, by looking for that title of the antique mall. Now, I'm really curious, Barb, what is your least expensive Rushton in your collection?
Oh, gosh. The least expensive. So the least that I paid for one, well, it would obviously be the ones that were given to me as gifts. Like the blue one, and then the lovely Randy Heilman gave me this one last year for Christmas.
Oh, look at him.
So he might be the littlest one. I think he's the littlest one that I have. And she got him from Misty for me. So, but for what I've paid for them, let's see. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever gotten like really crazy lucky and gotten one for like $1 or anything like that.
That would be the dream, wouldn't it?
Right, yeah. Probably, gosh, probably around $20, I think, where is he at? Oh, this one. I think I got this one from a flea market. They're all so similar. Here he is. This one I got from a flea market, and I think he was probably about $20.
Oh, wow. I love his little round belly. He's so jolly looking. And look at now he's one of the ones that has makeup on, or the blue eyeshadow.
Yeah, that's the fun thing about them, since they were hand painted, the faces, and their makeup and everything. I'm getting a little bit of a shadow, but yeah, he has a little bit more blue than some do, but I don't know if I have any that have. You'll see some once in a while that have a crazy amount of eyeshadow, like pink or blue. And
I saw one that Misty had, and I was like, "Oh man, he's really cool."
Yeah, they made them all a little bit different, I guess, or I don't know how they did that. If certain people did it differently, or if they were told to do it a certain way, I'm not sure. But
now, do you know where these Santas were made?
The Rushton Company was based in Atlanta, Georgia. So I don't know for sure if that's where they were all made, but I know that's where the company was based. And I've often wondered if people in that area find more of them or not, but
I wonder that, and I'm only 6 hours from Atlanta, but I do not see Rushtons here. I've never seen one at all. And I really don't see that many rubber-faced dolls either. I don't know, maybe in Florida they don't survive the heat.
maybe. Yeah. I wondered if down south if there was possibly more around, but I mean, I guess it's like anything else. Sometimes the certain area has more of it, but I don't think always, so.
Well, you've shown us your favorite, your least expensive, and your most expensive, and the one that started your collection. So I think we've got a really good base for some of your Santas. So I am going to let you just show the rest of them because they're all so jolly, and I know we're dying to see more of these happy little guys.
Okay, let's see here. So.
Oh, and Suzical has another great question. Suzical's asking, did they base the faces off anyone in particular or Grandpa?
Okay, from what I know, the Mary Rushton and or her daughter, they got the idea for the Rushton Santas from the artwork that was being made in, like, I can't remember exactly when it started, but there's actually a book about it, which I probably should get, but I believe his name was Haddon Sundblom, something like that. Haddon, I think it was. And so he was the one that started the drawings of Santa, you know, that started him looking more like that jolly Santa, and he had the Coke bottle. So they based the Santas off of those Coca-Cola ads, as far as I know. So.
Oh, that is just wonderful.
Yeah. This one, he has the white boots, and I think I got him on eBay. He was probably my Christmas present. I have a funny tradition that I do that some people think is crazy. I usually in the summertime, I'll buy a Rushton Santa from, you know, eBay or whatever that I haven't seen, and I leave it in the box until Christmas. So that's a present. So yeah, he was one of those.
What a great tradition. I love that.
It's fun. Yeah. People are like, oh, how can you not look in the box? But yeah. It's fun.
I would be too excited because I'm a go for it person. So I would just rip into the box, tear it open, and I would have no control. So that's amazing.
Yeah. Here's another one that was like, he's similar to the other little one I showed, but he's a little bit different. So he's kind of got a furrier suit, and I don't remember where I got this one. He was probably from eBay also. Oh, I didn't show anything about the tags yet. Let's see. So this one has what I believe is a newer tag. We'll see if we can see it or not. And it says the Rushton Company on the back, whereas some of them, trying to see, a lot of my Santas don't have a tag anymore. Oh, here's one. This one has a tag that says Rushton Star Creation. And so as far as I know, these are the older tags. So.
And I'm sure a lot of those tags just got ripped off too over time.
Kids didn't want them on there probably. So yeah, he's a fun little one. And this one might be, this is one of the few that I have that has black rubber boots. Oh, the dog's barking.
That's okay. I've got a Louie at home.
Probably somebody outside knocking on the door. So he has the black boots that are rubber, and so he's marked Rushton on the bottom. And let's see. I was trying to see if there was anything different. He has the rubber hands, so he would have had a Coke bottle that's missing. So.
Now, since they designed these after the Coca-Cola Santas, as far as you know, did they make these Santas sort of in conjunction with Coca-Cola, or did Coca-Cola really not have anything to do with it and they just sort of added the Coke bottle?
You know, I don't know. And that's interesting because I wonder, would they have had to have Coca-Cola's permission, I guess? I'm not sure.
That's what I wonder. But there's a lot of bootleg Coca-Cola stuff made without their permission. So I'm curious.
Right. That's true. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if that book might say that. I haven't ordered the book because I wasn't sure if it actually has anything about Rushton Santas in it, but it's called something about Haddon Sunblooms, and it has the word dream in it. I think you could find that people could find it if they Google it, but that's the only book that I've seen that is dealing with like Coca-Cola and Santas that I know of. But yeah. So
I just love how jolly and plump they look. To me, it's like the ideal Christmas Santa.
They definitely do.
And Tia Fane's asking, and I do think that you had mentioned that you're on the hunt for a pink Rushton Santa.
Right. Yes. There's a pink Rushton Santa. I wish I had. I don't have it printed off. Somewhere on my phone I have saved in a Facebook group. Somebody posted a picture of their Santas all lined up on a fireplace, and they had possibly all the colors. They might have been missing one or two, but yeah, they had them all lined up. So sometimes you didn't even realize there was a certain color, or they even made different variations. Like I've seen a green suit that was kind of like a dull looking green, and then I've seen one that looked really like velvety. And so yeah, I would like to know, did they make those special colors every year? I don't know, but
and man, I would love to find an emerald green one.
Right. Yeah, they're so pretty. There's one that I'm not crazy about that's kind of like a mustardy yellow, but I would definitely.
I've seen those.
Yeah.
I don't think the mustard color is as like golden as maybe it's supposed to be, so it looks a little strange compared to the other Santas.
Right. And there's an actual like gold, like shiny bright gold. There's one of those too.
That would be amazing.
Yep.
Now T. Marie is just joining in, and she's asking, how many do you have in your collection?
Oh, right. So for the Rushtons in particular, I think I have 16, and then with adding on other brands of Santa dolls, then it would be around 30. So.
And Paula, we've got lots of great questions coming in, folks. Thank you so much. Paula is asking you, have you thought about writing a book since none of them exist?
Oh yeah, Jeffrey's definitely suggested that before, but I think it would be so awesome, like, hearing George, the antique nomad, talk about, how he got to talk with all the people that were behind, Treasure Craft. And, it's definitely something that would be awesome to do. I don't think I'm in the place right now where I would have time to do it. But if one doesn't come out, eventually maybe I would. I don't know.
And that would be amazing because, you've got such a great collection. And now that you've met some of those people in the group, you could collaborate with them to get photos of some of their things that you can't find.
Right. Yeah, for sure. This one is the one that I got pretty recently, and I found him at a Trader Baker's in Indiana. I think he was on one of Jeffrey's videos, and I have found a picture of this one with his tag, and I think he's probably one of the later ones, like maybe later 60s or possibly even early 70s. I'm not sure if they made them into the 70s or not, but their beards can be different too. That's another thing. So he's got a different material of a beard and a really furry suit, and he's got the white boots. But if you compare him to this one with his beard, I don't know how much you can see the difference, but that you definitely can tell when you have them here in person. So
the Coca-Cola Santa seems to have more of a fluffy beard than the other guy.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of more soft and yeah, for sure, I would say it is.
And then we have another great question coming in from T. Marie. We're happy to have all new folks joining us tonight, and she's asking if they still make these.
Not that I know of. There was one made, not by Rushton, but kind of like whatever you want to say, a redo of it. And I believe there might have been more than one company that did it. I'm not positive, but I think I've seen them labeled Dakin before. And I want to say that was in the 80s, as far as I know. So Yeah, it looks very similar to the older ones. Especially if if you don't see them all the time, you would probably think it was. So.
And Randy's asking me to ask you about Harold Gale Santas.
Well, I don't know a lot about Harold Gale Santas, but I think I have 2 or 3 now. I'm probably not going to get too into those because I don't really need to. I have a lot going on here already with the Santas, but Harold Gale, yeah, I really like them, and I think it would be really neat to find they made really large like store displays that were, motorized and do,
Oh man.
I think that would be awesome to find one of those. But yeah, Harold Gale is definitely another type of Santa that if you like these things, you might want to look into those. And yeah.
So I imagine you could really go down a real rabbit hole when you get into these Santas, because you could start collecting Rushton and then probably, 20 other companies that made them as well.
Yeah, you for sure could. Some people might, you might just like one, or you might be like me and you kind of get into all of them, all the different companies. I definitely like Rushton's the best, but here's another one that's a different company. This one was made, I think he has his tag, but yeah, he was the Bijou, Bijou. So the Bijou toy company made him. And I have another larger one too that I didn't bring down here. So that's another one you can look out for. They have some really cute ones. And let's see.
He's got some fun side eye, that little guy.
He does. Yeah, a lot of them have side eye for sure. I would say the majority do. Here's a little guy. So this is kind of different compared to the Rushtons. It actually doesn't have a rubber face. It has, I guess, what you'd call like a kind of a cloth face. And these are made by Claire Creations, Clare, and they made all kinds of toys, I believe. But I'm trying to think, how did I see this? I probably just saw it when I was searching for other Santas, but I just thought it was cute. So I have 2 or 3 of those. They're kind of different. I like their little present bags that they have attached usually.
The way that their face is, it kind of looks like the Anna Lee dolls a tad bit, the way that they're stylized.
It does look similar to that for sure. If I had, from what I've looked at and seen, I think that these possibly are even maybe 1940s.
Oh, wow.
Possibly. So, yeah.
Amazing. Now, Vinny is asking, he says he bought a Rushton Santa for $18 at a flea market. Was that a good price?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, even if it's not in the best shape, I mean, for an actual Rushton especially, I would say that's really good. My cat's about to climb onto my tablecloth.
We want some of the other Santas. We got more people tuning in. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, folks.
Let's see. This is one of my favorites. He is one of the larger that I have. I would say, gosh, I can't remember how tall he is, but a lot of the others are probably in the like 15 to 18 inch tall range. And I think he's more like 20 to 22, something like that. And he's neat because he has the stitched boots and he's a larger one. So, and he also has a really velvety kind of suit. So he was one that I got for a Christmas gift a couple years ago, I think. And he has a funny head that turns. I tried to put something in his neck, and left it like that. No, he's just stuck like that.
Well, I love his eyeliner because he's got a whole lot of eyeliner going on.
Yeah, he definitely does. But he's definitely one of the nicest condition ones that I have.
Now, I imagine a lot of these suits get stained and ripped. What are some of the best ways to care for that?
Well, I'll show you if I can dig this one off the bottom of my pile here. This one is probably one of the worst conditions that I have and that I purchased. Let's see. So it was worse than this, and I'm not sure how well it's going to pick up, but he has some staining, and he also, when I bought him, he smelled kind of like cigarette smoke, I guess. He had an unpleasant odor. And so I read, this is early when I first started getting them, and I looked up online, what could you do? So I put him in, I think, a pillowcase or a bag of some type with baking soda, and I shook it up, and like that was supposed to be good. And it helped. But then for a very long time, I mean, you just touch him and then you see the baking soda flying off. So if you do that, just be prepared that it may take a while for it all to be absorbed. So.
Oh, he is still so cute. I love the way they do their little hats, because
Right.
it looks like he's got like a little uh the hats that have the little nub on the ends, They're
Right.
so fun.
There's all different ones. Some of them have more of I guess they just changed materials a little bit at some point, but yeah. And then of course I have some that are missing it, but yeah, their little hats are really cute.
Jamie says without the belt, he looks like he's in his jammies.
Yeah, that one, he's missing the rest of his clothes, I assume. So I don't think they made any that didn't have the jacket, but maybe they did. I'm not positive. So.
And I see Diane saying, Barb, you're making me want to get out all of my Santas.
Yeah, last year, well, now they're out, but last year I got them out for Christmas in July, and this year I only got a few out, but they're out now. So I guess they'll stay out for a few more days now.
And Peacock Parlor is asking, is there a solid white one?
That's a good question. And yes, I believe there is. I know I've seen a white one, and then I've been a little bit confused about if there is also like a light gray or if that's actually a dirty white one, because I've seen both. So I'm not sure, but I have seen a white one, yes. And I imagine that they're probably pretty hard to find, because I wonder if, they got dirty easier. So I wonder if people, got rid of them if they got too dirty. But
I can imagine that. I've read too, on a different subject with the aluminum Christmas trees, that when a lot of the aluminum started shedding, or people felt like, that style had passed, they just threw them away, which just breaks my heart. But a lot of people did that.
yeah, I know I've seen people in the chats saying things like, oh, years ago I had one, and I thought it was, it's what their parents had, and they just thought it wasn't in style anymore. So they didn't know.
Helen's asking, can we see your big Rushton Santa?
Oh, yeah. Let's see how much of him we can get on the camera.
Suzical's saying it would be fun to pose them in different situations, like playing poker or at the disco.
That's funny that you said that, because when I bought this big one, I had seen one. I don't think it was the person that sold this one, but a different one that was for sale. They had in their listing, they had it like standing in different spots in there. It was funny. Like, yeah, and that would be hilarious. I joked that I was going to take this big one and start, placing it in funny spots around the house.
Carrie says you should put it in a stroller and roll it around Target.
Well, I haven't gone that far, but this one, I got him right. I opened him on Christmas, and then when we went to my in-laws that day, I was like, oh, I'm going to bring him along, and we'll just put them somewhere in his house and let them like all of a sudden see it. And so that was fun. And also people that were driving by, because I sat him on my lap in the seat, we got a few looks. So.
Well, that's hilarious. At Halloween a few years ago, I bought one of those large skeletons that it wasn't vintage, but it was just fun. I was doing a haunted house at the time, so I strapped him into the front seat of my car and just rode around with him for a couple of days like that. I got so many looks.
Yeah, that's fun. For sure. So this one is about, I think he's approximately 3 feet tall. We're not going to be able to see all of them, I don't think, but he does have he has the stitched kind of boots, and yeah.
And his suit definitely looks a little more fitted to him.
Yeah, his suit is pretty furry. These big ones, they also vary in their different materials I've seen for their suits. So I have a hunch that the ones that have this really furry and this type of beard were possibly a little bit later, but that's just, I don't know that for sure. So
It would be amazing if you could find that out or talk to someone that worked in the Rushton factories or knew more about that. I think that would be really interesting.
yeah, I do hope to find out. If nobody else, finds out, then hopefully I can find out someday. But I'm hoping that what I saw was true when somebody said that somebody was writing a book. Hopefully they are, because that would be nice. It would all be done. I could just listen it.
Yes, it would be so helpful. Now, I'm wondering, were these sold primarily in catalogs? How did people buy Rushtons back in the day?
Oh, I don't know for sure. I would say that they had the bigger ones, I think, were probably store displays. So did that mean that, they were for sale in the store? I'm not sure. I think that I have seen a couple of advertising type of things that maybe advertise something like getting one for a certain price if you bought a certain product. So yeah, I'm not sure if there was just, I don't think they were sold in like toy stores or anything. They could have been, but maybe it was more like general store type of things. Or I'm also confused about that too. Like, I know that a lot of people gave them to kids for gifts, but I'm wondering how many people, was someone like me that just bought one to display. So
That would be really fascinating to find that out. But it's hard to track some of that stuff down.
yeah.
So we've got a request to see the Santa that's on it would be my right, that has the guy in the back that's got the big eyebrows.
Oh, yeah, okay. So this is another bigger one that was like the one I showed a little bit ago with the black stitch boots. He's probably about 20 or 22 inches tall, I'd say. I think I got him on eBay, I believe. He has his tag. He has the Rushton Star Creation tag, and he's got the white boots, and yeah, he's got some fun eyebrows. For sure.
He does. He looks like he's gotten them kind of flared up going down the chimney.
Right. And he's got his belt is on backwards. I don't know. I'm scared to try to move these things too much, so I just leave them. However they've ended up, that's how they stay. And he has the cloth hands. I think a lot of people, and maybe you probably really like the ones with the Coca-Cola bottle, which I definitely like those. But I actually, the ones with the cloth, like mitten hands, are actually probably what I prefer. Just because sometimes the rubber hands can start to look a little funny to me. It just depends. But yeah.
They do, and I like the softness of the mittens. They look very cozy and, jolly Santa to me.
Yeah, I think so too.
And then we've got some questions coming in here. Book has asked this question. I'm sorry I missed it earlier, Book, but she said, how would you care for the vinyl and grimy fur on these guys?
Okay. Well, as far as their faces go, I haven't ever done anything that started removing the paint. I think mainly what I've done is just use a wet paper towel. I think I've taken a magic eraser a little bit, just carefully, and that's worked pretty well. And then as far as their suits go, it really depends on, what the problem is. I would say if you want to try out a certain cleaning product, just maybe try a spot that isn't very visible and, see if you can test it out. On the white fur of Santa's, Diane Broderick had given me some good tips on that, because I was honestly kind of afraid to even really mess with them at all, like that I was going to ruin them. And she kind of gave me some tips on different products. She told me, for the white beards and everything, you can use I think the one I have that she told me is, I don't know if she's here, but maybe Kaboom, was it? Just different sprays, and that worked really well for the white. And also this one here, this was in a video when I found him with Jeffrey at Trader Baker's. And actually pretty much all I did to him, his beard was not very great looking at the time, but all I did was take my dog brush, my like slicker brush, and just brush the fur and the beard, and that really helps a lot
Oh,
sometimes. Yeah.
that's a great idea. I never thought about that, Barb. I should do that to my little fella.
Yeah, just go slow and make sure it's not, starting to pull the hair out or something. But it's worked well for me for the most part. So, and I do that with other plush animals too. I'll just kind of carefully do that. And I've been trying different tips for the plush animals when you get one that really isn't in the best shape. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. What worked on one maybe doesn't work on another, but like different carpet cleaners and things like that you can try. And it's just kind of, I don't know if it's a matter of how long the stains or dirt has been on there, but sometimes it works for me and sometimes it doesn't. So
That's amazing. You just have a great collection. And that guy that you were just holding has the jolliest little red cheeks.
yeah, he does.
So
He's
fun.
really a jolly one. Another one, I don't think we've shown him. Another one that was more of a recent find was this one, and he has a really like plushy sparkle, like kind of almost really shiny, I guess is the word, suit. So that was a different one that I didn't have.
And do all of them have? Oh no, I see the other one has a black belt. So some have white belts and some have black belts.
Yes, yeah, the belts can kind of vary, and I would say that could be another way to kind of group in how old they are. Let's see, this one's belt is pretty different, so maybe he is kind of more at the end of the production possibly, and then some of these older ones have a belt that looks a little bit, the metal clasp was a little bit different. They're kind of, let's see, their belts, are they stitched on? Yeah, they're usually attached to this little piece right here. So, yeah.
That is fun. Those are so darling. And Paula's got a great question. She's asking, do you give them all names?
No, I haven't done that. I don't know what I would name them. I would never remember what they all were, I don't think. So, no.
And I see Randy's asking, were you into Santas as a child?
No. I mean, I don't think I even knew what these were. None of my relatives or anything like that had any. So I don't think I knew about them until really just a few years ago when I had started going to auctions and estate sales. I don't think I saw them before then. I don't know if I would have I probably would have been like, ugh, as a child, like, what is that thing?
Well, I mean, they're cute to us now as adults, but I think they're a little bit creepy to children just because of the side eye and the way they look. But to me, they're very like Santa. That's everything Santa is, just happy and jolly and round and fun.
Right. And there are definitely some that are creepier than others. I don't find many Rushtons creepy, but of the other Santas that I have, there are certain ones that could be considered creepy. I know, but to me, they're not.
Well, and see, I'm not a doll person by nature. I find most dolls almost terrifying. And that's no offense to anyone that likes them. I just, for me, they're a little creepy, but I like the Rushton. So that says a lot, folks, coming from me.
Yeah, there's just something about them. I don't know what it is.
And Jamie's asking, what is your average value for these on eBay?
It obviously depends on the condition, and it depends when you're selling it, because if it's Christmas time, then you would naturally expect possibly a little more. Although on the other hand, more people sell them at Christmas. So there would be more for people to choose from at that time. But I guess for one that's kind of in good condition and it's, the regular smaller size, it's really hard to say. If it has a Coke bottle, I think it is typically more valuable. But it really can vary. If you look at the solds, I think it does vary a lot. So I don't know if I could just put like one price in general. I guess in general, I would say if I had to pick something, like if you're on eBay, like between $30 and $50 if it doesn't have a Coke bottle, and if it does, probably more like 75. Those would just be things to like hope for, because it may not be that you can always get one for that price.
Now, have you ever seen these not listed as Rushton, but known that they're Rushton because people just don't know what they are?
Yeah, I don't search enough, not as much as I should, for like, you would search for things like vintage Santa doll or vintage stuffed Santa. And this one standing right here, I actually did get that way last Christmas. They were selling a large lot of a whole bunch of Christmas items, and he was included. And because they didn't have it labeled Rushton, it's probably why I was able to get a good deal on it. So yeah, search for, and if you do search that way, you might find other makers, other brands that you like.
That's amazing. That's such great information, Barb. It has been so fun seeing your collection tonight. We got about 5 minutes left in the show. And as Vinny's pointing out, we have 112 folks watching. So let's thumbs up the video and definitely share this with all your Rushton loving friends. Barb, it has been just a delight having you on, and everyone has been oohing and eyeing over your door in the back and all your Santas. So thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Oh yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's a specific thing. You either like them or you don't, but it's so fun to learn about things, even if it's not something that you would want to have in your house. I always like watching and learning about new things. So, and the door, my husband made that. So
oh, that's amazing. It really is a cool backdrop for your Santas. It's a great live show piece in the back.
Yeah, my house is, I don't have, I don't have my own channel, so I don't have a lot of spaces, set up for things. So I had to think a little bit about where to do it.
Well, the door was a perfect choice. So Barb is on Instagram at Winking Owl Antiques, and she posts some great photos. She doesn't have a YouTube channel, but I have linked her Instagram down below, and any of my mods can drop that into the chat now. And go follow Barb on Instagram, because I know that over Christmas she shared some Rushton photos, and she's really got some great things on her account. And what's coming up next for you, Barb?
Oh gosh. I don't know, just more fun with Jeffrey on his channel and shopping. And well, I'm going on vacation next week, so I'll be there this week, but next week I'm going to be in Wisconsin. So
oh, fun.
yeah.
So Jeffrey will be flying solo, so we all need to help him in the chat while Barb's gone. And I will see Barb and Jeffrey on Friday. At what time do you guys have your sales on YouTube?
6:30 Central.
6:30 Central, so 7:30 Eastern. We all tune in for a really fun sale. Barb sells some things. She's got some amazing vintage, so look out for that as well. And definitely keep your eye, thanks Angela, and keep your eye out for these Rushton Santas when you're out shopping, because like Barb said, even if these are not something that you're drawn to collecting, you now know what they are, and maybe you might pick them up for a sale, or you might know someone that wants to collect another Rushton.
I'm always here if you need somebody to take one off your hands. I'm here.
That's right. Barb will take all the Rushtons that you guys find creepy and give them a loving home. Well, guys, that is going to do it for this show and tell tonight. Barb, it was a delight having you on. Guys, next week I am going to announce my guest over on Instagram, so stay tuned for that. There'll be more show and tells coming. And I hope, as always, you guys will stay in, stay safe, and binge YouTube. Bye-bye, everybody.